Anyway, let's jump into the video today. I have to say, I have to say this, just at the outset here. I was wrong about Joe Carter. I really was. I mean, listen, I've been a little hard on the guy. Let's just be honest. I've been trolling him pretty much nonstop for the last, week and a half, let's say. Trolling him nonstop, I think I might have jumped the gun. Sometimes, look, when you jump the gun, you have to admit it. It happens to all of us. We see something online that we agree with or we disagree with, and we jump all over it before we even know what's going on. Like, we don't really have all the facts, and people are saying that that's the case with this Southern Seminary thing with the Hernandez. Yeah. I should remember that. I've got people in my family with the last name Hernandez. But yeah, I was wrong about Joe Carter. I have to go ahead and apologize because he wrote a brilliant piece, an absolutely brilliant piece. And I'll go into the rest of it later because it's definitely worth a full treatment, if you know what I mean. But I wanted to bring to you the last kind of section. You know how blog posts, they got the bold, kind of section headers, and then underneath they have a few paragraphs about the section. And I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Joe Carter, bravo. And also, Joe, it took a lot of guts to do what you did because at the end of the day, I realize, I know you're standing against a lot of people in your organizations, like, the ERLC, where you're a communication specialist, the Gospel Coalition, where you're an editor, and probably even your own church. I have to applaud courage when I see courage. That's the reality of the situation. I have to applaud the stance that you've taken here, because it couldn't have been easy to write these words, especially knowing the forces that you're going up against. Especially on the heels of the Ahmaud Arbery situation. I saw so many people that they saw what happened, or even if they didn't see what happened, I even saw some people say that they refused to watch the video, but they were willing to go out there and just slander two men that they know nothing about and say, man, what a bunch of racists, white supremacists, KKK, and it was based on really nothing except the ethnicities of the players involved. And it was just like a drumbeat. You could hear it. It was like a wave. It was hard to stop the wave. Even Costigan was saying nobody should be killed for being black. And it's like, well, yeah, that's one of those truisms that I was talking about last night. It's one of those things that you can't deny it, but what does it have to do with anything, But Joe Carter, I apologize for calling you a potential CIA asset. I was wrong about you. Honestly, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Let me just read this last section of your article on Gospel Coalition. And I just got to say, at the outset, this is perfect. I could not have said it better myself. I'm starting to understand why people hold you in such high esteem. Here's what Joe says. He says, Christians should care about critical race theory because it's a satanic movement infiltrating our churches. Although the movement is still fringe, it is likely that someone in your church or social media circles has either already bought into the conspiracy or thinks it's plausible and worth exploring. We should care because many believers will or are being swayed by demonic influences of this movement. Man, I could not have said it better myself, Joe. That's brilliant. And listen, I'm the kind of guy that appreciates a barbed pen every now and then, and this is it strikes a good tone because it's serious and forceful and true. But at the same time, it's not overkill, with the barbed pen, that kind of thing. Let's continue, Joe, because this is brilliant. I want you to hear this. Joe says, the critical race theory movement frequently engages in slander, which James calls demonic behavior, James 3:15-16. The critical race theory movement also often traffics in lies, which Jesus says are associated with Satan. The critical race theory movement repeatedly sides with demonically inspired falsehoods that divide professed Christians from faithful believers. And the critical race theory movement has a tendency to call evil that which is good and good that which is evil, and to put darkness for light and light for darkness, as Isaiah 5:20 says. As a movement of Satan, the critical race theory movement is incompatible with Christianity. Man, could not have said it better myself. I mean, I've documented many such instances on my YouTube channel of people calling good evil, evil good, in the name of wokeness, in the name of critical race theory and critical theory ideas and stuff like that. Joe, bravo. This couldn't have been easy. I mean, I support you, man. If you need any help because the wokes are going to come after you. The woke crowd is going to come after you after you write something like this. And if you need any advice on how to deal with the woke and how to deal with the criticism coming your way, I've been there, man. I'll help you out, Joe. I'll attach my email address to the end of this video. This is the last the last paragraph here. He says, rather than scoff because it's on the fringes, we should work to guard those who would fall for such deceptions. Man, that's my whole YouTube channel's about that, Joe. That's good stuff. He continues, and rather than disdain those who have become enamored with these lies, we should plead with them to return to the faith. It's neither too early nor too late for Christians to launch a counterattack on the demonic influence of critical race theory. Bravo, Joe. And I needed that last paragraph too, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's very difficult to continue to turn this camera on and to continue to say a lot of the same stuff over and over again. And sometimes it feels like you're not having an influence and not having an impact because, let's face it, I don't think it's quite as fringe as you're saying here, Joe. Critical race theory is all over the place. I mean, you're in Gospel Coalition. You know how many ideas and how many pastors and stuff will just slander people based on nothing but people's skin color. I mean, do you remember what happened to that poor Catholic boy and the Indian guy, the guy who was, chanting gibberish in a Native American tongue, that kind of thing. Yeah, like man, that was tough stuff, man. And you can just see how demonic critical race theory is. I mean, it's all it does is divide. There is no reconciliation. That's what's so demonic about it too. It takes language and it turns it on its head. Reconciliation it ends up meaning really just dividing and remember that segregated worship thing, Joe, at the Gospel Coalition's Women's Conference, where they said no whites allowed at this fellowship event? Man, that's demonic stuff. That's demons that do that kind of stuff, and they make that good, and then they make the insisting that race not play a part in your fellowship, insisting that makes that bad, and that's it turns the scripture on its head. So demonic. Joe, I'm so proud of you. I am. And listen, if you want me to send you a free No Despair. If you want me to send you a free No Despair t-shirt, I gladly will. Just send me your address and I'll send you one. It's about QAnon. He didn't write this about critical race theory. It's about QAnon. But look how perfectly it fits. That's a real conspiracy theory. QAnon, who cares about QAnon? He put all this stuff in here, and he gets some of it right and some of it wrong. I know a little bit about QAnon, And anyway, and he makes it seem like it's just based on no evidence at all. Everything that they say is based on no evidence, and some of it is. That's definitely true. That's the thing with conspiracy theories. Is I think a lot of conspiracy theory, just to be perfectly honest with you, and I have no evidence for this. This is a conspiracy theory, Joe. Ready for this, Joe? I think a lot of conspiracy theories are actually government misinformation campaigns. I think what they do is oftentimes when there's nuggets of truth, which you've admitted there's nuggets of truth in some of these things that are plausible, like you said, like the elite pedophile ring, which is not just plausible. I mean, this stuff exists. I mean, people have documented this stuff. It's not based on nothing. Anyway, I think that there are campaigns that take true stuff and then mix it with a bunch of insanity, and so that regular people, reasonable people, will be like, yeah, that's just crazy. That's just insane. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think there's a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of misinformation campaigns that go on. In fact, the government has admitted that they've engaged in this kind of stuff before, and in fact, they engage in this kind of stuff overseas. At least that's what they'll admit all the time. And misinformation is a very common thing. That's what I think about conspiracy theories. So when Joe just wants to make it all satanic, that's just so overly simplistic. But critical race theory, though, the way that a lot of Joe's friends engage in it, again, I saw Costi Hinn say nobody should be killed for being black. What he was saying was that the Georgia killing was because of race, and there's no evidence for that. That's that's the definition of slander, when you have no evidence of anything. It might be true, it might not, but you're not basing it on anything except skin color. That's slander, bro. Like, that's like the definition of it. This fits so perfectly for critical race theory. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I might go into this QAnon video article a little bit more, because I think it is worth going into some of the nitty-gritty of what Joe is attempting to make seem like, you know, the worst thing since sliced bread. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.